Have you ever felt stuck in yourself or in your environment? Here are 6 books to help you change that. Hi, guys! I hope you're feeling amazing today. I am so happy to be here. This has been a little bit coming. I have been trying to figure out what to bring today, and it finally clicked for me. I am bringing my top 6 books of all time. When I mean books, I don't mean just typical fiction books. We're talking about the books that have made a big change in my life, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I hope that that inspires you to read them. And if you already have read them, I would love to know what you thought about them and your opinion. And if it did change anything, let me know what did change and shift in your life. So, if you are ready to see which books there are, just keep on watching. So, first up is going to be this book. I actually bought it in my home language of Portuguese, but the translation is The Magic of Silence. This book just allowed me to just understand what I was doing with my silence. I had so many times where I didn't have anything else to do. I did all the tasks that I need to, and I had some time to do nothing. And instead, I would just fill it up with doom scrolling or watching a video or doing something else that involved noise. It's almost like I was uncomfortable with being in silence. And this book just allowed me to not only understand that, but to then start practicing having moments in silence, studying in silence, doing tasks in silence, not having to put a music or having to put background noise. I come from a culture, at least in my country, a lot of people do that. They will turn on their TVs and leave the TV on for just plain old background noise instead of just appreciating the fact that you have the ability to stay in silence. So, one of the main things that this taught me was definitely to have more moments of mindfulness and more moments of just being in silence and being with my own thoughts, with my own way of thinking, and allowing myself to accept that sometimes those thoughts will be good, sometimes they will be not, and just accepting that they exist. Next up is this lovely gem called the 8 Master Lessons of Nature. This was so difficult to read for me. I had a really, really hard time reading this. One, because the writing is absolutely impeccable and you just get lost in the words. But it felt really difficult for me to read it as someone that is in earth based spirituality. I see nature as a guiding force, and for me, it was really difficult to start correlating certain things in this book with what I saw. I knew that there were many things that repeated themselves or were copies in nature. Like the pattern on a tree when it's cut is the same type of patterns that we see in our fingers. The way that the trees just wind and create their branches, it looks just like the veins in our bodies. But then having that done in a much, much deeper level in this book and making me realize how close we are, it was a really difficult journey to fully enter it all in my body. And I had a really hard time to fully read this, but it was a joy to read it at the end. It just made me realize how deeply connected we are with nature and all of the lessons that it can teach us. And it's definitely a very learning moment if you are not within the type of realm that I am. It definitely teaches you not only how to appreciate nature, but to appreciate the world around you. And it definitely shifts your perspective as soon as you start looking around. It's definitely a must read for those that need to open up their eyes, open up their brain, and just see life in a different perspective. So the next one is a little controversial, but I have to. It just completely changed the way that I see my own body as a woman. And that has to be this one. So this is Period Power. And I love it. This was the most interesting read that I had in a while. It was so eye-opening, so understanding of what I was feeling, how I was reacting. It answered also a lot of questions that I had. It made me realize what I could do to improve my own hormonal balance, how I felt about my cycle, how I emotionally felt about my period. Because I feel like as women and people that have periods, we have sometimes this shame or this fear or this yuckiness associated with our period because we just don't know enough, because we just don't have the ability to understand it at a deeper level, either because we weren't taught enough or because a religion just dictates how we should feel or should be. And the reality here is that this book became a really powerful tool for me as I started and tried to understand myself and see from different perspective. And I truly have to agree that in the moment that you understand more, you start to have a different way of seeing it, and it just becomes another path of life and another part of life to just fully accept and be happy and jolly about the fact that your period exists, because it is so important for your cycle to be as normalized as possible. And for those that unfortunately have pathologies that their cycle is just abnormal and it's painful and it's horrifyingly unjust to just have to deal with this. And as a world, we focus so much in other pathologies and most of our studies, and I can tell you this as a nutrition student, a lot of studies are only using male subjects. They're only using male participants. There's not a lot of studies involving not only both parties, but also equal parties, and also studies focusing on women's health. There's so little information about endometriosis. There's so much misconception. And also, there's a bias in the medical community where women, unfortunately, that do have PCOS, endometriosis, and other types of pathologies, they will go undiagnosed and suffering for years because doctors will not take the time to just fully evaluate them. And my heart goes out to all of you that unfortunately have to deal with this, because to me it's just so horrifying what I went through of losing my period for a while, having horrible cramps and dealing with all this, and just basically having a doctor say it's just normal and here's a pill and deal with it. When in reality, I needed to go much, much deeper into understanding what I had, and my problems were so much more complicated than just take a pill and deal with it. So please, this is my this is my PSA. Please advertise for yourself, advocate for yourself, and don't give up until you find the correct answer for your issue. Do not stop until you find a doctor that is willing to help you and guide you along the way, because those doctors exist. And when you do find them, hold on to them and make them be the center of attention and be beams of light to those that just simply need to just learn more and do better. Because my people of the medical community, as I'm entering it, you can do better. A lot of you can do better, and those that are already doing their best, keep going. Going on to a lighter note, I already have it here and I wiggled it. We have Intuwitchin from a dear person that I just love, Mia Magik. She created this book. And I had been waiting for a long time because she had announced the book and I was waiting for it. And then I pre-ordered it and I was like, God dang it, I need this book. So for those that don't know, I did many of Mia's courses and I love her approach to things. I love how blendable and how mutatable she is. And I think it's just because of the fact that she's a Gemini, and I relate because I also am a Gemini. But I cannot just appreciate this book. This book has done the job of what her courses do in a bite-sized introductory type of format. I feel like the way that she structured this is perfect for those that are unaware of what they're doing. It's perfect for those that want to know more, want to learn more, but they're scared. And it just makes it in a very chewable, very easy to understand, very palpable way in which I thoroughly enjoyed this book. And I had her courses. So this just made me feel like I was being guided through a story that introduced me to her courses. And be aware, I did her courses first and then I got the book. So for me, it just felt like a gift, not only to her community, but to the world, that she just made this so easily accessible to the people that are not even aware that stuff like in this book is even possible. So my advice is find your magic, and this is the book to maybe start with it. Now, a lot of people, myself included, are extremely lost in this world, in what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. And for me, I've come to find that a lot of people are aware of their hobbies, their likes, their dislikes, but they're not even aware that they could turn that into a career or find something that aligns to make it a career. And also, a lot of people don't have any awareness of even that. So, there is a book that completely shifted the way that I see what I like and what I like to do, and basically combine it. It's like Ikigai on drugs. Because with all due respect, but Ikigai, it is a really interesting concept, but I feel like it doesn't give you enough and it's too simplified when it comes to trying to actually figure out what you want. So, we have this beautiful book right here. So, this is Discover Your Dharma. And basically, this girly, she has created a process that allows you to figure out how do you communicate, how do you present yourself, and how you think. And through that information, it allows you to figure out what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to your life, to your purpose. And interestingly enough, it breaks it down in a very simple, uncomplicated way. It allows you to actually understand the way that you communicate. Are you more of a nurturer? Are you more of a visionary? Are you more of an artist? And allowing you to understand how you communicate, it allows you to then figure out paths within your personal preferences that most align with what you do. So it allows you to make money out of what you like, understanding your likes and dislikes, focusing on what you wish and your purpose in life, and it allows you to expand the way that you see something like a job or a career. I find that a lot of people are stuck in what they perceive as a career because we were programmed into, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to college, I'll finish this degree, and then I'll stay in the job associated with my degree for the rest of my life. And it doesn't need to be that way. And this is coming from someone where I am in college getting a degree, but that is not the end all be all to my career. Just because I'm going to do my career, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be stuck doing what is expected of me within my degree. My plans is to expand it, to increase it, to make it more. And the reality here is that is exactly what you should do. You should look at your career, at your life within a purpose. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Why is the way that you communicate with the world the way that it is? Why? That's literally what this book does. He asks you constantly the why. Why do you do it? And believe it or not, the question of the why you do something is so incredibly powerful. Because let me make you understand one thing. The way that you see your why, the way that you implement your why is what will make you go further. It will make you go so much further than you could ever imagine. Because when you have a reason, when you have your why, when you figure out your purpose, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you in your tracks, because any obstacle, any concern, any issue is going to be obliterated by your willpower, your determination, and your ambition to just do it, to just do more, to just be more, to be more confident, to be stronger, to be so incredibly and importantly just you, because you are important. I cannot tell you how much this book changed my life path. So, next up, this book, I may ramble, and if I do, you will tell, because I'll probably edit quite a bit of it out. But I am so thankful for this book in a deep, deep way. So the book I'm talking about is Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. And this book definitely did it. This is a very quick book to read, and I cried the whole way through. When I tell you that I cried the whole way through in this book, it's incredibly, insane how much I cried. Each separate page of this book brought me some sort of aha moment. I had moments in this book that I cannot even describe what I was understanding about myself. This book made me see how negative I was, how tired I was, how hurt I was, how much trauma I held in my body, how much I was holding on to grudges, onto pain, I was holding on to old relationships. I was holding on to the ideas of who I was. I was holding on to my family's expectations of me. And literally, the title of this book is exactly what it means. Change your mindset, change your life. It is truly insane what your mind can do to your life. When I tell you change, I mean change. I need to give a parenthesis here and make you guys understand. I went from being depressed, trauma-ridden, a complete social recluse, and downright suicidal, to being confident, being able to stand in front of a camera, being able to post on social media with no fear, being able to go and put myself through college when I was terrified of failure. And now I have never been so happy, so confident, so incredibly myself as I am right now than I was years ago. When I read this book, I got it because I had seen a video of a content creator called Skylife. I'll probably will never be able to thank someone so much for just introducing me to amazing people through her videos. And the reality here is, through her video, I found the author Garrain Jones, and his book. I was like, I'll pick it up, find it interesting, whatever, right? His story, his way of storytelling, even the way that he does the book. I actually will try to open a page to try to show you guys. He illustrates the whole book. I'm on page 17, and this basically has a page which was the most impactful page for me. Page 17. Which was, these are your limiting beliefs. And it literally tells you, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't matter. I need to survive. And it goes on and on and on and on and on in this illustration. And this page was page 17. This page broke me so hard. I was crying for 30 minutes. When I read the first line of I'm not enough, That was literally what I was speaking in my head on the daily basis, 24/7. Do you understand what it's like to just be in your head to the point where, like, no joke, funny story, yesterday I was in class and a colleague of mine asked my teacher, what was the most depressing place you were in? And my teacher, he answered saying that he was in the police station. When my colleague asked that question, my first thought is my own head. The most depressing place I have been was my own head. And I am so thankful that it's not that case anymore. So this journey was epic, a little sad, a little triggering perhaps, at least for me it was, having to go back and realize that my life had completely shifted after reading these books. So if you have read any of these books, or are thinking about it, or you have other books that you could recommend to me for me to read, please leave them in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And please go ahead and check out the other episodes. We are on episode 30 freaking 9. We're almost reaching 40 episodes. It is insane that I started this less than a year ago. I started in July of last year. And it has been so rewarding to just do this. It just allows me to speak to you, and it allows me to put what I know and what I like out there. And if it connects with you, I would totally love for you to just follow and see more. And I cannot wait to continue doing this with all of my joy and pride. I cannot wait to also see you on the next week's episode on Tuesday. So go ahead, click to subscribe, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.